Hello, Conteseras. My name is Ace. I am your newest correspondent with Contesera Pageantry, and today we have a very special guest with us. But before we begin, please like, share, comment, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so that we can continue to bring content like this to beauty pageant lovers across the world. So without further ado, I'd love to introduce Athenna Crosby, our reigning Miss World America.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. I am so excited. This is so awesome. I love the studio, I love the setup, and you look very dapper.
I mean, you're Miss World America. What can I say? A compliment from you means the world to me.
Yes, you got to do it. I got the stones, I got the rhinestones, and you've got a nice suit. We're
Thank
looking good
you.
today.
We are looking good. Thank you.
Yes.
So, we'd love to get to know you a little bit better. So, can you tell us about yourself and your journey as a beauty queen?
Certainly. Well, I'll start with where I'm from. I am a California local. We're here live from the studio in Los Angeles, and I was born and raised in Northern California in San
Mhm.
Jose. I grew up in a multicultural household. I'm biracial. My mom is Venezuelan and was an immigrant to the United States. Met my dad and started a family. So I grew up speaking Spanish, making arepas with two different worlds combined. So I identify heavily with my Latina side.
Mhm.
I went to school for communications and media studies. I graduated with my bachelor's of science. And since then, I've been a working journalist here in Los Angeles doing entertainment journalism and news. And I'm also an actress and model as well on the side for fun. And of course, I do pageants. So this year, I achieved my lifelong dream of going to an international pageant by competing at Miss World America and winning. And now I get the chance to go compete at Miss World. So that's a little bit about me.
Amazing. We do have quite a bit in common. I'm also an immigrant, and I'm also from
Wow.
Northern California.
Wait, where are you
I'm from
from?
Sacramento.
Okay, NorCal in the house. We have
So we're
NorCal in the
pretty close. We've
house.
been pretty close.
I was just in Sacramento actually for an event that I was doing modeling for. So
Mhm.
I really love Sac. What part specifically are you from?
Specifically, I grew up in the south side of Sacramento.
South
So,
side? Okay, cool.
went to school there and everything. And then
Okay, Sac State?
I went to UC Davis. Actually, I
Oh, okay,
know.
he's smart. Okay, big brain
Went to
energy.
UC Davis actually, but I also moved also a transplant to Los Angeles, so moved
Yes.
here last summer, and it's been
Wow,
great.
welcome, welcome, welcome to LA. Are you loving it?
I love LA. I mean, you
Is
can't
it
beat the
crazy?
weather, the traffic, the
It's
people.
crazy.
It's a lot, but you can't beat the weather here.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful day outside. But of course, California through and through is
Through and
beautiful. So
through.
we're representing NorCal.
We are. So it's great to hear this kind of immigrant journey and this kind of where you are today. I
Yes.
know you are our current reigning Miss World America. Can you tell us a little bit about that journey and what it took to get there?
Well, you open a can of worms with that question because the journey is actually quite long.
Hmm.
I started pageants when I was 7 years old, and I
Wow.
just had a birthday just 2 weeks ago. So I turned 27, which means that it's been 2 decades of
Wow.
doing pageantry and 20 years of being on this journey.
Wow.
And when
Wow.
I initiated this journey, I don't think I knew quite where it was going to take me,
Hmm.
but I knew I had big dreams. And as, a Venezuelan girl, you look up to pageants, you grow up watching pageants, and it's a huge part of my culture. So I was very involved from a young age. And just these last couple of years, I was getting very close, very, very close to where I wanted to be. I competed in the USA system,
Hmm.
which, for those who might not know, is a preliminary to the Miss Universe pageant. And I was a runner up to Miss California USA in 2022. So I was fourth runner up. And then in 2023, I was third runner up. Then I discovered the Miss World system, which so grateful for that because it absolutely changed my life, as you
Hmm.
can see. And I competed for Miss World America and I was first runner up. So coming off of three runner up placements, I had one
Mm.
last year to compete for Miss World America before I aged out. So you can imagine the pressure was immense,
Yes,
right? The pressure was on.
absolutely.
But I knew coming into it, it doesn't matter if I win or lose. This is my dream. I'm going to give it one final shot. And, you know, thank you to God, I won. And so I'm finally achieving this lifelong dream of competing at the international level and representing the United States of America. So the journey is really ending on a high note.
It sounds incredible. I mean, you know, kind of going through this process, not once, not twice, but three times and coming out. Where does that determination come from?
I think when you want something badly, you are willing to keep going.
Mhm.
I have a motto that I live by, which is it's never no, it's just not yet.
Mm.
And so sometimes you have to wait for that yet to come for you. And if it's something you think is possible for you, if it's something you believe you can attain, why not keep trying? I mean, we're here in LA and in the entertainment industry. There's so many stories of resilience and perseverance of those actors who were told, no, 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 over and over again.
Mhm.
There's actually a saying in that industry that it takes 100 no's to hear your first yes,
Yeah.
whether you're an actor, whether you're a director or writer pursuing Hollywood success, right? So imagine hearing even more no's. I only
Mhm.
had to go through 3 in most recent memory. I think that's okay. I can handle that. So it was
Incredible.
easy. It was a natural decision for me.
That's, that type of resilience that you show. I don't know if I could, get told no, not once, not twice, but 3 times. So
Yes.
it's incredible to hear. It's incredible to hear. We'd love to hear more about your journey as Miss World America. So can you tell us about that experience? Has anything stood out to you? Have you faced any, different types of challenges that are like, this is really testing me as a person?
Oh, certainly. I mean, before I get into the challenges, I of course want to talk about the highlights.
Mhm.
And it's only been 3 short months since I won Miss World America. Was crowned in November, and it's just now March. And it's been a whirlwind, to say the
Mhm.
least. I've had the privilege of doing things not only on the local level and on the grassroots level, but internationally as well. Part of the perks of this job are the travel opportunities. So I've been able to do 3 international
Mm.
trips working on different events with Miss World America. I went to Dubai, I went to South Africa, and I went to El Salvador most recently.
Mhm.
And I'll give you guys an exclusive. I have another trip coming up in 2 weeks to the Cayman Islands. How cool
Ooh.
is that?
Very
Not a
cool.
bad job, right?
Very cool.
So, lots of international travel opportunities to see the world and to meet people, but also working deeply on my purpose of why am I doing this? And
Mhm.
and for me, that is to advocate for people with disabilities. My
Mhm.
brother Adrian is autistic, and growing up I saw how much need there is to really advocate for this and talk about this. So, I've been very very heavily involved with my Beauty with a Purpose initiatives the last 3 months. And just last night came from an event, a Best Buddies prom, where we got to celebrate teens with disabilities and their friendship with neurotypical kids and really bridging that gap together. So it has been incredible. As for the challenges, I mean, not gonna lie, the attention is a little crazy. Every day I open up my phone and there's like predictions, hot
Mhm.
picks, lists, and all these different things. And I'm like, y'all, the competition hasn't even started yet. They're still picking girls from different countries. So we got to hold off on it, but I love the
I
enthusiasm.
mean, the beauty pageant fan base is so, so strong.
It is.
Everyone has their opinions,
Yes,
and it's so great to see everyone so involved,
it is.
right?
I love the enthusiasm, and it's something that I'm learning to handle is the attention and the pressure, but it's both a little nerve-wracking, but also very exhilarating at the same time because
Uh,
people are noticing you and your hard work, and that's always very fulfilling.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I'd love to delve a little more deeper into your advocacy because, as we know, Miss World is dedicated to their advocacies. I know you mentioned that you had an autistic brother, and this is something that's close to your heart. Can you tell us a little bit more about how this drives your journey?
Absolutely. I've realized in the last few months as being Miss World America that this isn't just my beauty with a purpose for this pageant,
Mhm.
but it's actually been my innate purpose since I was born. So
Mhm.
this is something that I was born in my heart to talk about. And growing up as the sibling of somebody with a disability, I noticed from a very young age that my brother was different
Mhm.
and that people didn't necessarily understand that he has social needs that are different from one's own social needs. So he was diagnosed at the age of 5, and I'm 2 years older than him, so I was just 7.
Mhm.
So from as young as 7, actually very serendipitously when I started pageants, I knew that this was my greatest purpose.
Mm.
It's not to become a beauty queen. It's not to become famous or rich or liked. It's to be a good big sister to my brother.
Mhm.
And there have been so many instances where our family has been tested, where we've had to really be resilient and pushing forward on this message. But there's one specific instance that I do want to talk about that's really the genesis of my beauty with a purpose. So my brother Adrian was in middle school
Mhm.
and wanting to fit in with other kids, wanting to make friends. He noticed that kids would write their names different places
Mhm.
on the desk at school or maybe scratch it into a tree. And he got this idea, well, maybe if I etch my name somewhere on the school, the kids will like me and they'll think I'm really cool, right? I could
Mhm.
become a legend and it'll
Mhm.
be there forever, years and years to come. So he grabbed a small rock and scratched his name on the sidewalk at school. Unfortunately, the school took notice of this and involved campus police and
Mhm.
considered my brother a threat to fellow students and to the school, and they arrested him
Wow.
and gave him a criminal record at just 13 years
At
old.
just 13
At
years
just
old.
13. So my brother, in his innocence, thought that he would make friends and be cool by writing his name, but the school totally discriminated against him because of his autism, not
Mhm.
realizing he doesn't understand the rules. And they arrested him. And
Mm.
this insinuated a years long legal battle between my family and the school, working to get his record expunged so that he could live a normal life and that he wasn't a teen with a criminal record.
Mhm.
This made me realize that if this is happening to my brother, imagine how many other kids across America this is happening to.
Mhm.
And that's really when it became personal for me. And when I realized I have to do this work, I have to tell people about what my brother experienced so that they can know that this is happening to people with disabilities and so that we can work to change that. So that was the moment that sparked everything for me and my
Mhm.
advocacy. And it's been 15 years now of advocating for my brother. And I wouldn't have it any other way because it really fills me with a mission and with purpose that extends far beyond beauty pageants. But
Mm.
grateful to Miss World for giving me the platform to talk about it.
Yeah, no, it's incredible to hear that your advocacy is so close to home, right? It doesn't get closer than a
It doesn't get
family
closer
member,
than that.
right? It doesn't get
Exactly.
closer when you're fighting for someone that, you've known all your life and you have all the love for. So it's incredible to hear that.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's incredible to hear that.
Thank you. And I'm so grateful that people have been so receptive
Mhm.
towards that. So I have structured my Beauty with a Purpose for Miss World more around a awareness campaign.
Mhm.
My brother wrote the letters ADRX on the sidewalk.
Mm.
That was his nickname in middle school.
Mhm.
And so I'm showing people how just those four letters, just the four letters ADRX, which seem insignificant, right, can mean the world to him and can inspire other people as well. You know, my brother took that leap of faith of wanting to make friends and fit in with the other kids. And even though it went totally wrong, now he's in a position to inspire me and I'm able to use my voice to inspire others as well. So just four letters can totally change the course of somebody's life. And now we're making it so that that's for the better.
Mm. It's great to hear because I know Miss World it's focused on their advocacies, and you have a very strong one. Something really connected to who you are as a person. Um, so that's incredible to hear. That's great to hear
Thank
that you're
you.
so tied to what you fight for.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Speaking of Miss World, are there any past queens that you look up to? Like anyone that you're like, I love this
Love.
winner. I I I've learned so much from them, and I'd love to kind of model my path forward like they did.
I'll have to give a shout out to our hometown girl, Alexandra Mills, who
Mhm.
was Miss World in 2010. And of course, representing the United States, I'm carrying her legacy with me as well. Of the United States has been able to achieve the crown of Miss World, and also every single girl that came after her, is continuing to hold our country up in the highest regard.
Mhm.
So she's very meaningful and inspirational to me. As a dual citizen, though, of not just the US, but also Venezuela, the following year, Evian Sarcos won Miss World
Wow, I didn't know
from
that.
Venezuela. So
Wow.
that was cool for me. I was like, okay, they like me, not just one side, but both sides.
Yeah.
They like these type of girls, obviously, and I'm part of that. So yeah, Miss Venezuela won the next year. And that was also very meaningful. I mean, her beauty with a purpose was something that deeply inspired me because Evie
Mhm.
and Sadako actually lost both of her parents. Both of her parents
Mm.
passed away. And a lot of her advocacy was around being, a child without parents, without a family, and
Mhm.
how you can overcome against all the odds, all the obstacles to actually push forward in life despite not having that nuclear family and that
Mhm.
unit. And once I heard that, I was like, okay, wow, it's no surprise that she won because imagine losing both your parents and being able to make it to the international stage and win Miss World. I mean, what an underdog story.
Yeah.
So that inspired me for sure.
What an inspiring story. What an inspiring story.
Yes.
Hopefully once you take the crown, fingers crossed,
All fingers, toes, everything crossed.
that you'll be that type of inspiration, for the next generation of beauty queens.
Oh, I can only hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, Miss World is so special. And as somebody who's done pageants for many years in many different systems, I only wish that I discovered it sooner because I
Mm,
feel like I've had this innate purpose with me my whole life, as I touched on earlier. And then the fact that Miss World not only sees that, but encourages that and promotes that for its contestants that's really the game changer. And that's really what sets the Miss World system apart for me.
amazing, amazing, amazing. Absolutely amazing to kind of hear who you are as a person, your journey, your dual identities, and how it's important to you, and your advocacy, and why you fight so hard for your brother and for other people who are disabled. So it's incredible to hear all these aspects that make you Miss World America.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So we have a quick little game for you. If you're game,
Ooh, I'm
if
game for a
you're game,
game.
if you're game for a
I'm
game,
game.
this is going to be, we're going to ask some several quick fire questions, and you can only answer yes, no, maybe, right?
Ooh, pressure's on.
So not too
Pressure's
much of an
on.
explanation, but we do give you the opportunity at the end to pick one question
hmm
that really you want to provide a little extra context to. You
Okay.
want to
I don't
add
want to
some
make anybody
color
mad
to.
out there. Don't want to ruffle any feathers. So I'll choose wisely.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So we're going to quick fire some questions.
Okay, I'm ready.
And again, it's yes, no, maybe.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. Have you ever seen that video of Elijah Wood from Lord of the Rings being interviewed?
Is it the wigs one?
It's the wigs one.
Will you wear
It's
wigs?
the wigs one. That's my favorite. Every time I hear that word now, I always think of that wigs interview because he goes, "Will you wear wigs?" And he goes,
Yeah.
"Maybe."
And then he just loses at the
And
end.
then he loses his mind. So now forever and the rest of my life, I'm just gonna hear Elijah Wood go, "Maybe."
Maybe.
I'm gonna channel him in this
Okay.
portion right now.
We've got this. You've got
Yes.
this. You've got this. All right.
Okay, here we go.
So, do you believe beauty pageants can still be relevant in today's society?
Yes.
Would you ever compete in another international pageant after Miss World?
Maybe.
Do you think social media has more influence on a contestant's success than the actual competition?
No.
Have you ever faced criticism that made you question your pageant journey?
Yes.
Do you believe beauty pageants should eliminate the swimsuit competition entirely?
No.
Is representing America at Miss World a lifelong dream for you?
Yes.
I thought that was easy. We had to throw in an easy question.
Imagine I said no. Oh, that'd be so awkward. Yes, it is.
So, do you think your background and personal story give you an advantage in this competition?
Maybe.
Have you ever felt that pageantry favors certain looks or body types?
Yes.
Would you say that Miss World's motto, beauty with a purpose, is what makes this pageant stand out among other pageants?
Yes.
Do you believe pageant training should be more accessible to everyone?
Yes.
Have you ever thought about quitting pageantry?
Yes.
Do you think a contestant can win Miss World without strong public speaking skills?
No.
Is confidence the most important trait for a title holder?
No.
Would you ever consider coaching future beauty queens after your reign?
Yes.
That's a shout out to any
Shout
aspiring.
out. Hit me up.
If you don't win Miss World, would you still consider your journey a success?
Yes.
Should beauty pageant organizations require mental health exams?
Yes.
Okay.
Why not?
Should contestants be required to sell products via live online selling as a contestant?
No.
Should the Miss World organization consider accepting mothers and married women?
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay. All right. So those are your questions. So
All right.
Is there
Those were some deep
any-
questions.
is
There's
there-
a few that we need
there's
to
a few?
elaborate more
There's a few?
on.
well, you can choose one. You can choose one. So is there any question that you want to add some extra color, some extra context to?
There are several that I'd like to, but I want to know your opinion. Of all of those things, what do you think I should elaborate the most on? What struck you as like, What?
Hmm. I'd love to learn more about. I think if we're going to look at some questions, I'd love to see your thoughts on our last question. So,
Mhm.
should the Miss World organization consider accepting mothers and married women?
That is a very good question, and there's so many nuances with that. The reason why I say maybe is
Hmm.
because I understand both sides, right? I
Hmm.
know that Miss Universe, which is a very iconic, very respected pageant, decided to make that choice and
Hmm.
open it up to women and mothers. And Miss World being of that in that same vein, of that level of um, notoriety, people also want to see that happen for Miss World. But I'm a little bit torn because I think that organizations should change with the times, but should also stay true to their essence. And I think that there's nothing wrong with having opportunities that are only for certain people, let's say young women.
Hmm.
There's lots of opportunities in this world, but young women, especially, need a stepping stone to go on to achieve greater things. They need that mentorship, they need that networking opportunity. And when you're inviting other types of people into that pool, they might have already obtained that at some point in their life. So that just kind of, in my opinion, makes the game a little different,
Hmm.
right? So you're changing the rules of the game.
Hmm.
For me, I think in today's society, we're being very, very inclusive of everybody. And of course, inclusivity is very important to me, especially with my brother. But there is such a thing as overcorrection, right?
Hmm.
So I don't think we need to overcorrect and say, okay, everybody needs to be included in every single thing. I think it's okay for there to be opportunities specifically for young women.
Hmm.
So if Miss World wants to be the one to provide that opportunity, and let's say we only have we're looking to provide mentorship to this group of people. I think that that should be respected.
Yeah.
And there are plenty of other pageants as well who have opened up to women, to mothers. There's Mrs. Pageants, there's pageants for all age groups, there's pageants for men. That's how we met. Was that a male
Yeah.
pageant? There's pageants for men. There's so many opportunities. So instead of changing the rules of the game, I think we should open up more opportunities to various types of people. So let's say
Hmm.
creation of more pageants. And I think you'd agree that there's more popping up every single day.
There's so many, and
There's
I
so
think you bring
many.
up an important point there, where we have these different platforms now to uplift different types of people. It's not just about let's cram everyone into one single thing,
Yes.
right? So,
Yes, and
yeah.
that's my opinion, and I know that there are women who want this dream and who see this as something that they've always wanted to as well. And perhaps those women missed out on that window of opportunity because they aged out or because they chose, to become a mother or get married instead. And trust me, I know exactly what that feeling is like, having been in my last year of eligibility and that nerves of, okay, is that going to
Mhm.
happen for me or is it not going to happen for me? But I'm also comfortable in who I am to know that this pageant is not the only thing that there is for me out there. And I want to encourage those women and those people watching who feel a little heartbroken that this wasn't an opportunity for them. There is so much in this world. This is just one thing.
Yeah.
And there the opportunities and the possibilities are endless. So I don't want
Yeah.
anyone to stake their identity in competing in a pageant.
Mhm.
There's plenty to choose from and there's room for everybody.
Yeah. I mean, this goes back to, you try different pageants. So there are certainly many other opportunities in your life. This is not just the capstone, but this is a beginning of something for you and beginning for many other people who want to compete in pageants. So that's so great to hear.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Thank
Any
you.
other ones that you really wanna I think we can bend the rules.
I think we can do another question
We
for
can
you.
do another
We can do
question?
another one, okay?
Okay. We're already bending the rules here, so
Well, for you, we'll bend the rules a little bit, okay?
Okay, perfect, perfect.
So I think one of the questions that I also thought about, that really kind of struck me, right? As confident as you are as a person, the kind of criticism that a lot of beauty pageant contestants face. And my question is, when you face criticism and it
Mhm.
made you question your pageant journey, what was that like for you?
Unfortunately, with a public job such as this, you do get a lot of opinions and
Mhm.
you're very forward facing to the community, so that doesn't invite criticism your way. The criticism that for me was the most difficult to overcome was surrounding my identity as a Latina woman and
Mhm.
being biracial. And in tapping into my identity more, I found that there was a lot of support and a lot of
Mhm.
people rooting for me, but that there were also critics and people who said, well, you don't look Latina, or you're clearly an American girl, you don't represent me, or your Spanish is bad, you're not
Mhm.
you're not full-blooded Latina enough. And those were things that were really hard because I felt as though my entire life I almost shied away from my identity a little bit out of
Mhm.
fear that this would happen. And when I finally encountered that, I had to really dig deep into myself and go, okay, I can't listen to what the haters have to say because I'm feeling called to do this. I'm feeling called to tap into this part of myself, and I need to discover why. And I realized that a part of that sort of pull for me to do that, a part of that pull for me was because there are other people like me
Mhm.
who need to see me as a role model and who need to have this type of representation. I realize that although critics might say that I'm not Latina enough, my story is actually a very communal and very shared story amongst many other Americans.
Mhm.
Maybe even yourself, right? You're coming from two different worlds. You have two different identities.
Mhm.
Neither one of them is more important than the other. They're both equally valuable and meaningful. And so instead of letting the haters get you down and saying, okay, you're right, I'll just stick to this one identity, you can embrace both. And so I feel as though that's really another purpose and another mission that I have in this title is to be a representation for the multiculturalism that is the United States, and that many other immigrant children or immigrants themselves feel related to in that way.
Mhm.
And so that is something that, although I encountered that challenge, I realized this is actually fueling me to continue this work and to keep going because I'm not the only one. And I want to be a voice for those other kids across America like me who grow up between two cultures and two homes, and to show them that their identities are valid. And
Mhm.
that's what makes the United States such an incredible place, in my opinion, still to this day, no matter what anybody says, is that we are a melting pot of different cultures, different religions, different beliefs, different skin tones, and that is truly what makes this America. That's truly what makes America such a beautiful place.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree, right? There's there's no one way to be Latina. There's no one way to be an American. We're such a diverse melting pot of people that to say that, well, you can only be this. Why? Why?
Why? Exactly. It's not true. It's not
Mhm.
true. And as the world becomes more connected,
Mhm.
as nations and cultures begin to mix more, which we will see with time, right? This will become the norm.
Yeah.
People like me and you will actually become the
Yeah.
norm, where societies will no longer be as homogenous as they once were. With the intermixing of cultures and races and identities, you'll come to find that there'll be a lot more people like you and me who
Mhm.
maybe are a little bit mixed, have a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Um, but it will only be more and more as time goes on. So haters back off.
Yeah. It's time to get with the times,
Yes,
right?
times have changed and times are changing.
Absolutely. So thank you. Thank you. So those were some hard questions, but I think you pulled through. I
Oh,
think
thank you
you
so
pulled through.
much. I think we figured it out. I
Yeah.
think we got
Yeah.
it.
And so,
Explanations were
yeah.
given.
And so I think a part of that was like for myself, my favorite part of any beauty pageant is the Q&A. That's where we get to hear the voices of these contestants and we get to see their personalities. We get to see how fast they can think on their
On their
feet.
feet.
And so we'd love to do that now, but before we begin, how do you prepare for Q&As? What's that process like for you?
My strategy for Q&A, well, of course, it's always to speak from the heart.
Mhm.
And I feel as though life is the best preparation. So whenever I'm in Q&A, I always say, okay, what's something from my life that I can pull that I can relate to this?
Mhm.
I might not have the answers for everything, but I'm able to relate to many different people by talking about what I do know.
Mm.
So if it's a difficult question, I'll say, well, I can't answer exactly that, but what
Mhm.
I can tell you is this,
Mhm.
and this is what I've experienced. And this is what I've experienced in my life. So really it's just speaking from the heart and just pulling from my life experiences that's my strategy for Q&A.
Okay. All right. You've heard it here, folks. So that's her strategy for Q&A. So we have some questions here that were
Okay.
asked to previous Miss World winners, and we'd love for you to pull. So we'll ask for 3 questions,
Oh,
and you can
3.
pull. That's right, 3 questions. So you're getting real-time pageant training with us.
Real-time
And we have
pageant
someone
training.
behind the camera setting a
For a
timer.
timer?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So 30 seconds on the
The
dot
pressure is
for
on.
each question. So are you ready? So you'll pick the question, I'll read
Okay.
it to you, and then the time will start. All right?
Okay. Let's
Okay?
do it.
Okay. All right.
This is where you gotta stir it up real nice. Okay, here you
Okay.
go.
All right. So our first question is from Miss World 1994.
Oh, okay, before I was born. This is before my time, so
This was from Ashwara Rai. So she was the winner she was the winner for India. Okay. So what qualities should a Miss World embody?
Miss World above all should be a woman who is empathetic, who's
Mhm.
able to relate to many different types of people, and who's able to take the attention away from herself and place it on what's most important. One of my favorite movies is Mary Poppins,
Mhm.
and there's a saying that the spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
Okay.
So Miss World should be the sugar, and her beauty with a purpose should be her medicine that she gives to help heal others. So in my opinion, Miss World should be somebody who's empathetic.
Right on the dot, 30 seconds.
Perfect.
That was fun. That was fun.
Awesome. We did
All right.
it.
We've got
All right, one down.
got two more for the
Okay, here we
audience. So,
go.
okay. All right. This was Miss World 2017. So this is Manushi Chilhar. So another winner from India. All right. So what has been the world's greatest invention and why?
I think the world's greatest invention has been the internet.
Mm.
As a recent winner who's going to an international pageant, I've had the privilege of connecting with girls all over the world, and they've been able to share their sentiments with me over Instagram,
Mhm.
WhatsApp, and text. And that's made me realize that although this world is a great big place, it's actually quite small, and that
Mhm.
we're all much more alike than we are different. And it's because of the advent of the internet that I'm able to have that close personal relationship with the girls.
Wow. Amazing. Great
Yes.
answer. 30 seconds on the dot as well. Okay, all right.
Perfect. Okay.
One
Last
final question.
one.
One final question.
All
Okay.
right.
All right. Okay. So this is from Miss World 2018, Vanessa Ponce de Leon. So she was a winner from Mexico.
Okay.
Okay.
Latinas represent.
How would you use your influence as Miss World to help others?
In this journey of pageantry, which has spanned over 20 years, the one thing I've learned is that there's never rejection, it's only redirection.
Mhm.
And I want to inspire other people that no matter what they're facing and no matter what they're going through and how long that journey seems, if you keep going, you can achieve it.
Mhm.
I set out for this dream 20 years ago, and I'm standing here today because I didn't give up. And if you don't give up, then it's possible for you as well.
Oh, wow. Wow. I think that was under 30 seconds, but very succinct.
Short and sweet.
Short and
Short and
sweet. Short
sweet.
and sweet. So thank you. Yeah, that was incredible. Wow.
Thank you. All right. I hope that that was maybe Miss World can, reuse some of these
Hey,
questions and I'll
hey,
be ready to go, ready to
hey.
answer them.
We'd love some credit as well because
Of
this is.
course. It was you heard it here first. You heard it here first.
So before we kind of close out, it's been incredible, to get to
Yes.
know you as a person, Athena. Um, we'd love for you to provide any message you think for future aspiring beauty queens. What advice would you give them on their journey as they begin their paths?
That is a conversation that I could have for a long time, especially with the breadth of knowledge that I've accumulated from pageants all these years. If I had to boil it down to just a couple of things, I would say don't hesitate.
Hmm.
You really, once you set your eye out for something, you want to go for it.
Hmm.
I've met many women who have dreamt of doing pageants or wanted to do it, but out of fear or out of feeling unworthy. They let the opportunity pass them by, and they pursued other avenues that make it harder to go back to, let's say, something like a pageant.
Mhm.
So I would say if you have the opportunity, you have the means, you have the time, you've got a little bit of money, or you can fundraise, do it. Don't let the opportunity pass you by. I say go for it.
Mhm.
The second thing is dig deep. Dig deep into yourself, dig deep into why. Why do you want to
Mhm.
do this? Because there's a lot of opportunities, as I was
There
talking about
is.
earlier,
There is.
in this world for personal development and for progression. Something like a pageant is something that it's very niche, and you have to understand, okay, why am I picking this specifically? So whether that is because you're an entrepreneur and you're a businesswoman and you want to get your invention or your business idea out there, or whether you're somebody who grew up really shy and you felt like you didn't have a lot of friends and you want to make friends and have that aspect of sisterhood, or let's say you are looking to break into the entertainment industry and you want to get on a stage for the first time and a
Mhm.
pageant is an opportunity to do so. Why are you doing this? Dig deep into your why. And once you've secured that, there's nothing that can stand in your way
Mhm.
because you have a purpose that goes beyond just yourself, beyond the people in your life, and is really tying you to something much deeper and much greater. That way your confidence and your outcome is not resting on whether you win or lose.
Mhm.
Right? It's something that is so deeply rooted in you that you can't lose. You can only gain. You can only gain from the opportunity. So do it. Just do it. As they say in Nike, just do it. Or that Shia LaBeouf. Have you seen that video of Shia LaBeouf?
Just do it.
Yes. I'm just gonna like any girl who wants to do pageants, I'm just gonna send them that link.
Just do
Be
it.
like,
Yeah.
this is what I have to say.
Yeah.
This is what Shia would do. He would just do it. Yeah, the video of Shia LaBeouf. Just do it. So just do it. Find your why. Dig deep.
Mhm.
Also have fun. Have fun in this process.
Yeah.
I mean, people take things in life a little too seriously, in my
Mhm.
opinion. You should do something because you know it will bring you joy and you know it will bring you happiness and pleasure. So if you want to have fun, if you want an opportunity that's going to be fun, you're doing something for yourself, you're investing in yourself, then make that investment in
Mhm.
yourself and have fun doing it. So that would be my three pieces of advice to any aspiring pageant contestants.
You heard it here, folks. That's some
Yes.
world-class advice from the
Yes.
reigning Miss World America.
Thank you so much. Yes, like I said, I could go on and on
I
and
know.
on, but
It's something
I
you're passionate about, and I can see it. I can see that passion in you,
yes.
so
Yes.
very
Well,
cool.
before we wrap up, I have to ask you a couple questions because
Sure.
I'm a very inquisitive lady. So, how did you get involved in covering pageants?
This was I think first and foremost, I'm interested in people. I'm
Yeah.
interested in people and their different journeys through life. And so getting the chance to kind of dive into a community that is so passionate about beauty pageants. I think on the surface, a lot of times, it can seem shallow, right? It's a beauty pageant. What does it
Yeah,
matter?
what more
It's
is there?
beauty.
Yeah.
But as I've kind of delved in deeper and kind of understood that it's a beauty pageant, but it's physically, it's mentally demanding, right? That you have to be prepared for anything. You have to prepare months in advance, and you have to know who you are as a person, right? Because I think people can see when you're phony, and people can see when you're
Phony.
genuine,
I love that word.
right?
You're a phony.
And
I'm gonna
so
start saying that.
that chance to kind of, be on stage and express who you are and to share your message, and especially, as a Miss World competitor, to see that it's not just about aesthetics with you, right? It's
Yes.
about your brother. It's
Yes.
about your commitment to the journey. It's about sisterhood with you. That is something that, that's something why I'm interested in pageantry and how I see the people that participate, right? It's it's a way to show the world who you are. And I think everyone finds a different way to do that. I mean, this may be my
Yes.
way,
I
but
think it is. You're
seeing
mighty
your
good at
way,
this.
but seeing your way and being able to express yourself like that,
Thank
it's an
you.
amazing thing to see.
I love what you said. And I think there are so many misconceptions that surround pageants where people believe that it's just about superficiality or about
Mhm,
rewarding external attributes like beauty or your body or your
mhm,
dress. And And honestly, I like to remind people of this. Everybody's beautiful in the
Yeah.
pageant. So then what?
Mm-hmm.
Then what
Mm-hmm.
else?
I
What else do
mean,
you have to offer, right?
you're in a room with other pretty
With
people,
other beautiful women. I mean,
right?
if everybody's beautiful, that evens the playing field and that asks more of each
Mm-hmm.
girl. What more do you have to offer? What more is there in this world? And beauty is very fickle and it's
Mm-hmm.
very subjective.
Yes.
One person might be considered beautiful and then another person's opinion might go, yeah, I guess,
Mm.
right? And that's truly the, I guess, the catch, right? When it
Mm-hmm.
comes to pageants is you can't rely on your beauty because beauty is so subjective and it's different to each person. It might be different to each judge even.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the work really comes in of having a message and a purpose and other goals of what you want to achieve besides being the prettiest girl in the room.
Yeah.
And pageants implore women to dig deeper beyond their physical beauty because it's asking more of you, asking, well, how can you connect to people? How can you be a representative of those in your community? How can you get down and talk to a little child in an elementary school and then get up on stage and give a keynote speech in an arena, right? These
Mm-hmm.
are very different opportunities, but must be a very special girl to be able to do both of those
Yeah.
things, right? So
Yeah.
it goes far, far, far beyond the physical beauty aspect. And
Yeah.
always and beauty standards change
They
too.
do. They do. They
Pageants of
do.
days past, the beauty standard was you had to be extremely tall, extremely thin, very beautiful, very sexy, that those were the standards of that day. And now, because pageants have become a little bit more open to different types of women, that like the beauty standard has changed. And so
Mm.
now it's not all about, okay, well, you know you're gonna win because you're the tallest, hottest, skinniest girl in here. Like, no, that's not enough anymore, right? You have to be more. So I'm really grateful for that societal shift because I
Yeah.
think it's opened the door for women like me and so many other different types of women
Yeah.
to see that this dream is attainable for them.
That's great to hear. That's really great to hear. So before we kind of close out this interview, is there anything you would like to, I mean, is there anything you would like to plug? Anything you would like to
Plug myself.
say
Hey.
to our viewers?
Follow me, tweet me, like me, text me. Yes, I would love to plug my social media, of
Mhm.
course. For those of you watching, please follow along on my journey to Miss World. My social media handles are at Athenna Crosby. It's ATHENNA CROSBY. You can also follow Miss World America on Instagram. It's at America's Miss World.
Mhm.
And of course, follow Miss World because they'll be posting a lot about us contestants in the months leading up to the pageant. I think we are 60 days away.
Wow.
So
60 days
it's
away.
really coming up quick here. We're just 60 days away. And once the competition begins and is underway, it's 30 days in India. So we will
Mhm.
be arriving in Telangana, I believe on May 4th.
Mm.
And we will be there until June 1st.
Wow. Okay.
So wish me luck, y'all, because that's a long
That is a
time
long
away from
time.
home.
That is
It's a month
that's a
long.
month away from, I've never been away for more than 2 weeks. So,
It's a
yeah.
month away from
Wow.
home and in a foreign country which I've never been. Have you been to India?
I have not been to India,
All right, we need
but I heard it's a
somebody
beautiful
drop
country.
drop your advice in the chat. I don't know if there'll be a chat for this, but drop it in the chat. What's your advice for me going to India? So, yes, please follow me on all socials. I really, really appreciate everybody's support. No
Mm.
matter where you are in the world, I've gotten messages from, I think, any country you can imagine.
Mhm.
There's like a pageant fan that's
Mhm.
holding it down for that country, and there's a lot of Vietnamese and a lot of Filipinos
Oh
and a
gosh.
lot of
I
Wait, I think you have something to say on that. You have something
you
to
will have
say.
so many Southeast Asian fans.
I
So
love it. And I grew up in San Jose.
Mhm.
There's a lot of Filipinos out in
Yeah,
San
there's a lot
Jose.
of there's a lot
So
of Vietnamese.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
Vietnamese. It's been preparing me. That's my people. That's my community. I represent them too. So
It's amazing.
yes. Everybody follow me on social.
So
Yes.
thank you, Athena. Thank
Thank
you
you so much.
so much for sitting with us.
Thank
So
you so much for this opportunity. This was such a pleasure to sit down and talk to you a little bit more about me and my pageant journey and the road to Miss World. So, wish us luck because in just 2 months, we will be arriving in India for the 72nd Miss
mm,
World, and it's going to be incredible.
we'll be rooting for you. We will be
Thank you
rooting
so
for you at
much.
Contesera Pageantry. So Thank you to everyone who watched this video. Before we let you go, please like, share, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so that we can continue to bring content like this to beauty pageant lovers throughout the world. So,
Mm.
again, I am Ace. This is Athena Crosby. With all our love, we hope to see you again. Thank you.
We love you, Contesera Pageantry. Mwah.